Welcome to Live at the Blue Box.
Long hair, it's good.
We are now going to start our evening. For those of you that don't know, every Saturday night we do live podcasts where we do interviews, we play game shows, we talk about geek stuff. It's just all sorts of fun. And tonight we are going to start out with a show called Input Junkie, where we are interviewing Julie Holloway. Hi, Julie.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Can we hear everybody? Is it all good? It's good.
Yeah,
it's
good.
All right. Hey, look, we're on another camera phone right now.
We got camera phones.
On everything.
We're
We're on YouTube. We're on Twitch. We're on Google Hangout. We're on Periscope right there.
Wow.
And back there, we're on Meerkat.
Are we on Roboscope too?
Yes.
Cool.
Yes. Good.
And later on, we're going to have a proctologist here. We're going to be on another type of scope, and it's a bit of a pain in the butt, but you'll get used to it. All right, so why don't we introduce ourselves? I'm Rob Southgate, Southgate Media Group. You are.
I am Chris Mao, co-owner of Blue Box Cafe and co-host of several
lots of
podcasts.
Stuff.
Yes, lots of things.
And just to be clear, he's the owner of Blue Box because this question has come up. I'm nothing but the guy that talks here. And then our special guest, Julie, I've already introduced you, but I'm going to introduce you again. We have Julie Holloway. On Facebook, you're Julie M Holloway. Mm-hmm. Do you officially, is that your brand?
It is. I go by
Julie
JMH.
JMH, yes.
JMH, yes.
Julie, you're a number of things, so we're going to try and get into all of this. But the way Chris knows Julie, which is how I know Julie, is you're an artist and you do like windows and all sorts of stuff. Mm-hmm. And then you friended me on Facebook, and I forgot you were an artist. I mean, I knew it.
Right.
But everything's all leadershiped up, and I'm like, oh, this is my leadership buddy. So we're going to talk about that, too. But, Chris, you look like you want to say something about the art.
No, it's great. You know what? We met Julie through, was it DNA, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so last year we do like a little thing called Winter Wonderland here in downtown, and Julie is a local artist looking to get her work out, and she got conscripted into doing the windows for our holiday event, and her work was great, and we became friends, and we've talked, and I've hosted some events here for her and her daughter's book and some things that we'll talk about later, and she actually painted a picture that she did for some live art for a church that we have hanging in the wall outside. She's given us a few items that we have displayed around the store, and it's really good. She's really talented and awesome, and I'm glad we get a chance to talk to her about it. So,
Thank
to
you.
help do her stuff.
So let's talk about your art a little bit.
Sure.
First of all, what I've seen, it seems like you work. You have a certain style you're working in. Did you go to school for this? Is this something that you just like, this is just what I do and it's evolved into this and now, boom, I'm Julie M Holloway? What's the deal there?
Well, I really knew that I would become an artist probably when I was about 8. I did
That's
lot
a magic
of
number.
Drawing.
There's an 8-year-old drawing right now.
Yeah, my parents bought this thing called Art Instruction School, and it was like these things that they mail you every
Did you have to
month.
draw Tippy the Turtle and send it in?
Maybe.
Was it one of those?
I don't know.
Okay.
You draw like a shape or a tree or this and add a shadow and add perspective. And I remember doing those lessons for a long time. And then I got into studio art in like 7th and 8th grade all through high school. And I had a really good high school art teacher that, really mentored us a lot. And during that time, I would enter competitions, and I had a really dark, abstract type of a look to my artwork, and it won some awards and things. And I ended up going to the Art Institute. My art teacher always told us, go to Bradley or go somewhere and learn the business of art. Never listened to him. Applied to the Art Institute. Went there.
Was this the mentor? Did you ignore your mentor?
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. And
Well done.
I met him just a few months ago, 20 years later, and I'm like, I should have listened to you because now I'm 38 and just got my degree in marketing. But I went to the Art Institute and quit after a year, lived downtown, blew through my parents' money, and thought, I better not do this anymore. And after that, I got right into corporate where my dad worked, and I never did my art for quite a few years.
Okay.
So it's a great feeling to do it now. And I picked it up about 2 years ago once I...
You went back to it like 2 years ago.
Yeah, I just like... It was about the year that I painted here was a year ago. So the year before that, I really started doing a lot of painting and artwork. So it's been a long time coming.
That's interesting because my perception was different than the story you just told. I figured you've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
It's been evolving. I mean, it really looks like that. It doesn't look like I jumped back in 2 years ago and I've kind of got my thing going. So really impressive, Julie. Now,
thanks.
So you went to AI for art. Mm-hmm. You went then and got your degree in marketing. Where'd you do that?
I actually just did that for the last 6 years. I did online school with Capella University.
With Capella.
And I was working full time in corporate, but I thought, I need to get this business degree. I went straight into marketing because I really enjoyed that. And then left corporate about 4 years ago and for my graphic design business.
Yeah.
But as I got more and more
you
into...
started your own graphic design business,
Right.
and you're using essentially your degree for that, right?
Right.
Essentially.
To market and to sell. And
I understand.
Yeah.
I didn't get my degree till, what was I, 45? Something like that.
Sorry.
I had 2.5 credits going in, and I did University of Phoenix, so I was an online.
Oh, yeah.
And ended up getting 2 bachelor's degrees and then never went to work because we started this.
Cool.
So, yeah, I get it. So, yeah, you do use your degree that way. It's just you don't get paid more for it. What were you going to say?
No, I was just saying
you had your hand up. Sir?
I did not have my hand up. I was good. I just was engaged in the conversation.
So, okay, with artwork, did you want to say something?
No.
Okay.
I'm good.
I'm going to monopolize
You are.
Julie.
You can
here.
monopolize her.
I'm
I'm going to chime in a minute here. You're good.
So with your artwork, I seem to sense, like I see a certain style. What medium are you working in? Is it?
It's all acrylic,
I was going to say
chalk, and
I see the chalk for
glitter.
sure.
A lot of glitter.
A lot of glitter.
Yeah. I brought a couple pieces here.
Yo, I'll grab them.
But I do.
Yeah,
I love acrylic, but I like to do a lot of details with chalk and then like spray it with glitter afterwards. And about 15 years ago, I was living downtown with my husband, and I started painting the Chicago skylines off of our balcony.
Oh, that's so cool.
So a lot of the paintings, like the one outside and around, they're very like Chicago inspired, but really abstract. And my son always says, "Why do you keep painting these skylines?" And I said, every time, I see something different, and they just evolve. But
I get it. Chicago can be quite a muse.
Yeah.
We were driving downtown the other day, and we were like on like South Side, coming in a different way, and it was very industrial. Mm-hmm. And even there, I looked up and I was like, "Oh, it's such a beautiful city! Like there's so much, and so many angles and things to work with." I get that.
And we're out here in Hanover Park, so I mean, I come to downtown Elgin, I'm like buildings, like urban.
They have a Venture there.
Feeling.
When I was a kid, they had a Venture.
Yes.
Venture's long gone. You got a Venture and a Dunkin' Donuts in Hanover Park. It's nice.
That's
Right.
Sorry. Yeah, I really like that aspect, that those feelings of what the stuff that I see from you that you've done for us with that kind of thing, like you did it's the skyline that you have out there with the.
Yeah.
Is ours Rise and Shine? I can't remember. I'm sorry. It's my old age, but I mean, it's just it's inspiring. It's really really good. It's got a lot of cutting it out. It's got a lot of life to it. I think it's fantastic work.
Thank you.
I'm really engaged with it. I'm really I'm happy to know you and happy to be able to I don't want to say to help it, to give you whatever promotion we can. So
that's obvious because as we started doing these, like, pretty regularly it would come up like, who we got to get in here?
I did. I mentioned
it would be good in here.
Absolutely.
And then you wrote to me. Now, what actually happened here is different than, hey, let's have Julie in to have a conversation. Although that's what I thought it was, and then it turned out, here, I'm going to explain.
Yes.
So you reach out and you go, hey, can I come in? And I thought you were saying for you to be interviewed, and I was really excited. Then it turned out it was your client we were going to interview.
Right.
Then your client couldn't do it. And we scheduled 2 times, once for the client, once with you, and now here we are. But in the beginning, I thought it was, oh, good, I'm interviewing Julie. And when it was 2 times, I'm like, one time about leadership and one time about art.
Yeah.
So that's how you ended up here. But a lot of it was Chris asking, because he does really,
pushing.
He really does dig what you do, and I do too. I mean, I love it.
Thank
I
you.
like this piece that I was just showing with the mocha. That is
Yeah.
cool.
If you see Julie's stuff, she likes a lot of things. She likes Chicago. She really, really likes coffee. It focuses a lot. She does a lot of things on Facebook and on
which is probably
Twitter.
why I like your stuff
coffee
too.
cup. Yes, it's all to our hearts, so we really like it. It's good.
Yeah.
But, plus the other stuff, like and I know we've talked about your art, but your the entrepreneur within kind of stuff that you've done. She does a lot of work with her daughter and with some other people trying to get people empowered into business. It's fantastic, and we can go into that in a little bit, or if I cut in. But if you want to talk about that,
let's talk about that.
Because you have published how many books? 3. This is the
we
third.
published 3 of the TEW series, and probably I've published about 8 different journals with my artwork on them.
Okay.
And then Jasmine, my daughter, she's published 3. My son has published a few journals and drawing books.
Well, starting it early. I hate to say starting it early.
Yeah.
Getting them into the mode, so that's
absolutely.
neat.
Yeah, we have Molly podcast, so we're right on top of it.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
We dig that.
Well, I hate to say, you know what, I started in business late in life, and I really wish I would have done it earlier. I mean, I did a little bit, but I was, kind of like you did the corporate thing, and then I'm like, why am I not doing it for myself? Which I think is good, and I think the corporate world is good and it has its place, but I'm not the corporate person. I need to do my own thing and be able to explore my own boundaries, which, and I'm not artistic in that way, but I do different things, and I think we're all creative in different ways, so makes that work. But I mean, this is kind of because when we did your event here on that Saturday, that was a entrepreneur. It was TW kind of thing that we did. Yeah, so we had Julie and her daughter in doing some of the TEW stuff and doing some of the other things, and kind of had like a meet and greet, like open house?
Yeah,
it was like a meetup, and there were a few people that were here, probably 15, 20, which is really good.
Yeah,
so,
and a lot of people just kind of joined in. We like to not rent like a banquet hall, but once a month go somewhere, in a restaurant, a boutique, a coffee shop, a chocolate shop, and just, we call it have a TEW, but it's more like just a meetup. Whoever wants to come, if you have questions about graphic design, if you want to check out some art, we let the kids really promote and try to sell their books and her candles, because it allows us to talk to other parents about inspiring their children, and that it immediately turns into the kid thing, and then people are like, well, is this a kids event? No, it just, they like to see what we do, and in turn, we've helped little kids start businesses, or kind of play business, publish books.
Well, you know what? But I think it's important. Like we had kind of talked about that. Like we had mentioned earlier, it's like getting started. You never know until you do it what the possibility is. People come up to they do much more to Rob, but we'll be out at a convention or something, and somebody come up to me, I'd really like to podcast. How do I do it? It's like pick up a microphone and talk. That's how you start. And
he
then
says that, and then he says, "Here's Rob. He'll put you on." And then I have to.
No, that I do not tell him you'll put him on, but I say But
he goes, "Here's his home number."
But it's great for especially creative people to get their stuff out, because how do you do it other than putting it out there?
Right.
And I mean, and I know the game has changed a little bit because we've had a lot of authors on that. It's a lot easier to do it, but still there is a process, and it's not. You don't have to be found, but you need to have capital, and you need to have some of that stuff able to do it. So
okay, that brings up a question, and I want to tell everybody one thing before we go on. You keep mentioning TEW. TEW is the entrepreneur within. That's what she's talking about.
Yeah.
So when she says TEW, that's what her thing is.
You mean not everybody knows the acronyms? Come on.
No, I had another one I was going to make up, but I'll make that up later.
Yes.
During This Week in Geek, I'll use a little puppet for that. So
a little puppet.
I want to talk about this briefly. Publishing. You're self-publishing, obviously. What's your mode? Are you doing it through like Amazon? You know how Amazon has that publishing thing? Or have you gone a different route? Because we've had a number of self-published authors here, And we've had a couple of different things come up. I'm just always interested in that because your book looks beautiful.
Thank you.
This looks beautiful, your journal. So what is your method?
Well, the first 2 volumes, I don't have them here, but the TEW 1 and 2, we actually published through 220 Publishing. It's a good friend of mine, a small publishing company here in Chicago.
Okay.
I began writing right after I left corporate because I felt like the need to express this journey of wanting to be an entrepreneur so bad and quitting, and then like the aftermath was just a little bit alarming for a while, you know. But what happened is I went to Glenn, the owner of 220, and asked him if he would publish. You know, we were one of his first 20 publications.
Yeah, oh, cool.
He published 2 books for us. And then this year, a year and a half later, this was a long process. We had a lot more authors contribute on the back. And I said, you know, I'm going to self-publish this time because I've now published like 15 books, plus 5 or 6 of my clients' books through CreateSpace, which is
that's
Amazon.
the Amazon thing, yeah.
Yep. So I said, you know, we're going to self-publish, see how it goes. So we did. And honestly, in sales, we've bypassed both the other ones just in the last year, since August. This route, and I think it's because this time we marketed for a year. I mean, TEW3 was a long time coming, and as soon as it hit, all the authors, you know, they were buying tons of copies,
and sending out social media,
reselling them.
Yeah,
good.
We've done a lot of big events.
And you were very active with it too, because that's what I kept seeing.
Right.
That's why I said I kind of forgot about. I mean, I knew you were an artist, but all of a sudden I'm like, oh, this is what's going on, because I kept seeing it, which was great.
Yeah, and sometimes if I get burnt out on graphic design and I'm not painting right now, like the book is sort of my baby. Like it's my heart is where I share what's going on this year in my journey, and also get to share all the stories of all the contributors. So like Pierre, for instance, here, he's in the 3rd copy, and you can read his journey.
Right.
You know, there's many different types of
He looks like
people.
he wants to come up and tell his journey. That's kind of the look I see from him.
Sure.
What are you doing in a half hour? No.
We tell our stories. So I love promoting other people, and this is my avenue to do that.
Sure.
I'm not saying, hey, come read my chapter. I like sharing all the people in here, their chapters, their journeys, their businesses. That's sort of my one of my passions.
Sure.
You know.
And Julie has done that with places here in Elgin, places in Hanover Park, Streamwood, Bartlett, local communities out here. Every time you look at her Facebook page, she's talking about someplace she'd want to be or doing business, like Small Business Saturdays coming up in a couple weeks. And
Absolutely.
I've seen like 15 Facebook posts just about you, about other places. There's a local antique store here in Elgin that she's helping, you know, you're part of, but you're helping promote, and it's been a long time coming, and I think that's great. I really think honesty is, people want it to be genuine, whatever you present to them.
Right.
I don't want to say they may or may not like it. That's okay, but that's what we try to do here at Blue Box, and I know that's what you try to do.
Yeah.
When you say something or post something, I know that's coming from you. It's not like I'm saying the right thing at the right time. It's true, and that was great. Like when you came in and did your thing with your daughter, it was genuine and organic, and it wasn't like, hey, we're doing this stuff. I mean, and, you know, she's wonderful. You have great kids, and they were good, but it's kind of like what we do. It's genuine.
Genuine.
We just talk, and that's what it is. And if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't.
Right.
That's okay. But this is my story, and people will gravitate towards that.
Yeah.
They will. They don't. They're not looking for the mocked up stuff. That there's plenty of that out there. So.
Right. Absolutely.
That's cool. So,
Yeah.
do you have more of those in the works? You think, or?
Well, I have like 30-something people wanting to be in TEW4, which it's supposed to be.
Is that going to be the encyclopedia edition? I'm teasing. So.
It's supposed to be the creative edition. So TEW4 creatives. I've got authors and musicians and writers and just, you know, like computer designers, a lot of people that they're kind of in this little waiting thing in Facebook. But we worked so hard and so long on the 3rd one that I said, you know what, before we start any writing, we need to let it marinate for a year
Sure.
or two. 1 and 2 were published within like 18 months of each other.
Wow, that's quick.
And we kind of got some flack. It was all new authors in every
Right.
book, but a lot of people were like, you did it too soon, you did it too fast, you didn't let one marinate long enough. And then the same thing with the second one. Even though it was 2 years later, a lot of criticism. But my thing is, if I have 40 people that were waiting to tell their stories, I don't need to wait much longer.
Right.
But, you know, we had a huge party in the summertime and did a lot of marketing, spent a lot on, you know, Facebook ads and all these print ads. And I said, maybe after the holidays, we'll kind of get them started.
Sure.
But it's still going to be an 18-month writing process. So I'm excited, but I'm just trying to, you know, relax and enjoy it a little bit.
Sure. So from
but you don't sleep, you grind. So just to throw that in there, I mean, that was one of her slogans, like, while others sleep, we grind.
Right.
You're a very motivated person, you know, and it's, again, working for yourself is not 9 to 5, and people don't understand. No. Sometimes you're up at 3 a.m, you have an idea, you're working.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're up at 12 at night because that's when it moves you or what you're doing, you know, what you have to do. So
Right.
I think that's kind of neat.
So entrepreneurs, let's talk about this for a second. You're right in my wheelhouse now. I love small business.
Tell them no now. Tell them no now.
Love entrepreneurs. Love this whole thing. So this is where I'm at. Who are some of the leaders in that world that light you up? Who is it that you're like, everybody needs to read Seth Godin's books, or everybody needs to read? Who are they?
I love Brene Brown.
Brene Brown, yeah.
She's
We
my
actually
favorite.
have a Facebook little private group. Only those of you that are in it can listen right now. That we share leadership stuff with, and we've shared Dr. Brown in there. She's fantastic.
Amazing.
Have you seen her speak?
Only like her TED Talks or
Okay.
like the Oprah Super Soul Sunday. I watched it like 12 times. Yeah.
We go to a leadership conference out at Willow Creek Church every year, and Dr. Brown has been there twice.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes, and it's like amazing. Wow. We can share some links with you. What were you going to say, Chris?
Cool.
We did that on purpose. He was monopolizing the conversation, if you couldn't tell.
You know,
we do this to him often when we're here. So Dr. Brene Brown, who else?
Yeah. I like Eric Thomas, that like preacher guy, motivational.
You know Eric Thomas? Anybody know Eric Thomas?
Is it Eric?
Don't know who that one is.
Anyone? Where's the internet
there
lady?
There are 8 million, so you're definitely going to hit something that I don't know.
Yeah.
And he's a preacher? He's like a...
They call he's like a motivational
preacher.
Yeah. I'm blanking out.
You're blanking.
That's
That's
okay.
okay. I don't want to put you on the spot with it. Dr. Brown is really fantastic, really interesting. Her books and talks are just great. We watch a lot of TED Talks, too. Do you?
Yeah.
You watch
just
that?
go
Yeah.
through 'em.
It's all good. It's
Yeah.
all good. And, you know, we had a conversation last night. We had a little leadership get-together. And we had a conversation just about this and what a leader is. And, like, people's definition of it. How would you define a leader?
I think just someone that like genuinely cares for the well-being, the success of others, you know, and that can share their knowledge and their information without, you know, trying to have like a behind-the-scenes sort of motive. And somebody that motivates, inspires.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent answer. John, did you
Yes.
take notes on that one? Excellent. Very good. Yeah, you know, where people get tripped up in this whole leadership area is a lot of them start thinking of them as, you know, leaders and the boss. And that's not really what it's about. It's what you just said.
Right.
Well, leaders,
and I view you as a leader, just reading what you do and all that. I'm like, she's leading. You're leading your kids in a big way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
well,
was big.
most people think that leaders are the ones in front. They're usually the ones lifting up. I think that's the most important aspect of a leader, is making other people better and doing that. I mean, I always find it to be more important when you talk to somebody about the people that they lead, quote unquote, what they do as opposed to what the leader does. Because there's a lot of people who say the right things but don't do the right things. But if they do the right things,
looking at me, Chris?
I am. No, I'm not, in a positive way, in a good way, because I think you do that a lot. It's about empowering people.
The term leading up couldn't exist if the leader is only the person sitting on the top.
Right.
So now with your kids. Oh wait, we got questions. What? Yes, we got a quote. We're all geeky about this at our house. We listen to it all the time. Come up to a microphone and say it, Martha. Uh-oh, we've hit a speed bump. Oh, okay.
Oh, wait. That didn't mean stop.
So yeah, I mean, there's so much to share with that. We're always, just like you, we're always putting quotes out there.
Yeah.
We try to share, like when we find a good talk, whether it's video or audio, we try to share it with everybody because that's what it's all about. And I think that one of the biggest things, I remember when I had started in college again, the first time I got 2.5 credits. Did I mention that? It was an impressive college career.
And that's sketchy at best.
That's about
But I was watching a bunch of TED Talks trying to get motivated, and there was a guy, and I don't know who he was. I haven't been able to find it since. But his whole point in his talk was about bettering yourself and how important it is to watch. And he wasn't on a TED Talk. It was something else. Like, watch TED Talks. Read books on leadership and entrepreneurship and use those things because if you're the type of person who understands I might have to exercise a little bit or I might die earlier, it's just as important to exercise the mind and to stretch that muscle and learn about entrepreneurship and leadership.
Oh, sure.
Right.
You know, maybe not entrepreneurship. I think that's lifeblood in our house. But here's the quote. This just in. And we don't know who it's by. So we'll say it's by John Lee. When I talk to managers, I get the feeling they are important. When I talk to leaders, I get the feeling that I am important.
Yeah.
That is another way of saying what you said. Very
good.
cool.
And it's I appreciate that you say that. What's interesting to me is that my whole career before 4 years ago, for 16 years after I quit art school, I was a secretary.
Okay.
In like 8 or 9 different companies.
Okay.
And my problem was I was so creative. I would get bored. I would get burnt out, and I would either quit, get laid off, get fired. But my last job before I became an entrepreneur was with the absolute worst leader. And like some days I see people and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's my boss.
Oh no!
But we had a.
Shall we shame him? Do you want to put it on Instagram? No,
Nah,
I'm kidding.
no.
We'll put his picture. We'll link it. It's okay.
I learned what
Wait a
it
minute,
was
that's Chris.
to be like a terrible leader. And for me, I was his like personal assistant.
Did you have good ones in there
I
too?
did. I had
You did.
many at like Accenture, at Nike, the Home Depot, all these wonderful companies that I worked at. And then, bam, I get my last job before I have no more jobs. And I have the absolutely worst experience ever. Like, after 3 years, I quit. And it was during that time where I had taught myself design. I was a part-time entrepreneur. And I was, like, losing my hair, throwing my food out, like, just sick. And drinking coffee and eating no food, like, all day. So I was very sick. And
Don't say that's sick.
like just not in a position. You know, I had to go to a place that I hated every
you were
day.
miserable.
And after the 3-year review where he was like, you suck, failing in everything except for teamwork.
You?
Yeah.
I told
I know
my
you,
coworkers, like, I'm done. And
Sure.
I left that day, told my husband, I'm done, put in 6 weeks notice, and, like, never went back. So it's...
Good for
I
you.
never would have thought, like, to be called a leader, because I was always supporting the leaders of, like, big
But weren't you a leader in that position? You were. But you don't, when you're oppressed like that, you don't understand that. It's hard.
Right. And I was leading my coworkers. They were all like 20-year-olds with master's degrees and stuff, fresh out of college, being like project managers and software managers and all that. And here I am, the assistant, who's been in companies for 15 years, but felt like ridiculously shameful every day because my boss
Right.
would
Sound
just
familiar?
mistreat us. But he mostly mistreated me,
Sure.
and I didn't understand why won't he just fire me? Like, let me get
Right.
out of here. But I realized, doing graphic design, I would get in trouble at work because I'd be just doing designs, printing stuff for my clients, going to lunch for 3 hours. Still wouldn't fire me. And finally, I'm like, all right, this is
Right.
not going to work. And I just
You tried
have to-
everything. That's
yeah.
okay.
Please fire me.
but
I'm,
you know
I'm
what?
giving
That-
you every reason.
It's the unfortunate
Yeah.
reality of the corporate world is that happens and that it is allowed to exist, and it's just horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was your boss's boss and I saw your review, my question would be to your boss, why is that like that?
Right.
Because
'cause
as
isn't
a
that
manager, as a
reflection on
person,
you and your management
absolutely, I
style
think so
and-
too. I mean, none of us are perfect. We all have issues, and we all
Yeah.
have that. But I'd be sitting there going, why do you have a person working for you if you're going to give them all Fs?
Yeah.
And then,
Right.
then that he probably went around and said, I can't get by without her, but I'm going to, I hate to say keep her down like that. It's just horrible. So
So, Julie, I'm going to ask the audience for questions too. So
Anyone?
be ready, be prepared. Not ready yet.
Oh.
I got another question about this because the journey for the last couple of years, it's very similar. So, I want to get a little insight into what you've done. Are you a big goal setter? Do you have any things that you do that you go, you know what, this is how it works and this is what I'm doing?
Not very good. I'm actually not a great planner. So I'm in the 4th year, and the first year I planned nothing. I just took like millions of graphic design projects and like hardly slept. After that year, my husband was like, "This is not working out." So the second year, my best friend kind of came on and became my sales manager, also kind of like my coach. We did great for 2 years. We like tripled my last salary. So for me, that was
Nice.
Wow.
amazing. But we
That's what I'm missing.
never planned.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
you can triple your current salary.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
I got it right now.
And all that time, she's trying to be my coach, and she's like, "You are uncoachable. You're so stubborn. You don't plan nothing. You just work like
Yeah.
nonstop." And so she eventually had to go back to work, and all of a sudden, I lost my coach. I lost my salesperson. And this year, I'm like, oh my gosh. So now I need to plan. I need to listen to everything she's taught me. But I went into this year with three big overarching goals, but still don't really plan very good on like a monthly basis. I knew I wanted to connect with my community and my art. I got very involved with my son's school and our church. And then I knew we had to publish this book this year. And other than that, just, keep marketing and doing different things with the design business. Because it's still like a real up and down. And the down periods are usually when I'm burnt out, tired of it, my arm hurts, my neck is sore. And I just kind of fizz out. But the design and print business is actually like our bread and butter.
Right.
My husband's a stay-at-home dad, so we, like, the business fails, all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, we're failing. So I'm learning to do, at least on a monthly level, good, goal planning. And,
Sure.
It's helping, but I probably needed more of like a strategic plan.
Sure. And that's,
I don't know.
you know what? Some people are wired that way.
Yeah.
Sure.
There are admin people. There are creative people.
Right.
They don't usually like.
There's people that have
blend
nothing
in
to
a
do.
person as well. I mean, there are people that have that.
Right.
Just nobody at this table. Chris, you have it some, not us. So, okay, audience. Do we have questions? Anybody got a question for Julie?
Any more comfortable questions? No, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Nothing.
Nothing? Ooh.
Really? Not even from the ringers in the audience, huh?
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. Molly has,
Molly has a question. How did you start? Well, we just talked about that for 45 minutes.
In the beginning,
I was 8 years old.
Yeah.
I did a lot
what
of
were you
art.
doing? She was drawing. No, I'm teasing.
I still have all my drawings and books that I
Oh,
made
that's
when I
awesome.
was like in 2nd, 3rd grade. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, why did you start?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, she's been drinking.
She's the only one in the family that does that.
Yeah.
So.
Right. So why did you? Why did you start? Wait. Why did you start in art, or why did you start as your own business?
Business.
Okay. So
Hard questions coming from an 8-year-old.
let's see. 7 years ago, I had lost a job at Nike. It was one of the best jobs ever. Didn't work out. My boss moved away. So I had no job for about 3 months, and I was so bored. So I started going to college online, and then I taught myself how to do graphic design, off of YouTube videos and stuff.
Nice.
I bought the design software off of Craigslist, for $50. And I said, I have to do something creative with my life because I'm so tired of office jobs and, being a secretary. And then I was getting everything situated, and then I got this job at the terrible company with a terrible boss. Took the job, but for 3 years I did that job, and I was a graphic designer on the side, so I worked from 6 at night to midnight and really worked hard on my business until I knew if I just had more time, I could make it happen. And by that time, I was designing logos for people that had restaurants and hair shops and, stores. And I'm like, if I'm doing all their graphic work, why can't I do this full time like they do? And I had to get to a breaking point where I said, I quit and I'm going to do my business. And that's when I did it. And my daughter was 9 and my son was about 5, and he was just in kindergarten. And I'm like, I need to be home, and be involved with them instead of working, 15 hours a day. So that's when I came home. I'm like, this is my office. And we started publishing books and painting upstairs.
Is that when all the book
awesome.
publishing started? Because you're at 74 books now? What did you say?
Oh, no.
I was teasing you. But it is 15, right?
About 15 pieces.
And you've got the whole family involved.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. Now, your kids write books. Are they related to TEW?
Well, Jasmine has a couple books.
Jasmine, you want to come up here?
Come on.
Ta-ta.
We call her TEW Junior or TEW Kids because right when we published the first book, she said, hey, I'm going to publish a book and I'm going to do it before you. So we published her first book before any TEW book.
So she was first out of the gate.
She was.
Here we go.
Hold your other two.
Oh, cool.
And her first one was this.
This is not about leadership. This is about zombies.
Which is way better. So
Heck yeah. I love it. So, Jasmine, I'm asking you a couple questions. Who did the artwork?
Me and my mom designed the artwork online with her graphic designs.
nice.
Excellent. So you guys, this was a family project.
Yes.
And then you wrote the book.
Yes.
And then you did the publishing that we talked about. And how many books have you written now?
3.
3. And then you've got, your brother has written how many?
2.
2. What? How old are you, Jasmine?
13.
13.
Yeah.
3 books. Yeah, I'm
Yes.
47.
What are you doing tomorrow night? Just want to let you know.
I
So,
do have trouble spelling certain words, so you should see
3
when I
letter
type
words
the word
again,
the.
so.
I lost a finger. I lost part of a finger. When I type the word the now, it goes T-E-H. Every time. So I am not writing a book anytime soon.
this is her card. Check that out. She is a CEO and what is that, founder? What did it say?
That's awesome. CEO, fashion designer,
Fashion designer, yeah.
Jasmine Holloway.
Hey, and she has the same JMH initials. That's convenient.
Yep.
No, that works out well. That's good. So
Yeah. Well, I was going to name our daughter Rob also. We thought that it would be good if we were going to just keep having kids like George Foreman and do the same thing. But that was a fail.
He already did that. You couldn't be unique.
I also wanted to call her Arctic Monkey, and I did register it that way at Babies R Us, and then somebody didn't find it amusing. So
That would have been her.
She just keeps saying, "Thank God I was awake enough when you were giving the name of the baby."
Because you do, Jasmine. You've done books. You did some. Did we buy? Was it a purse that we bought from you?
Yeah.
Yeah, and she does candles. She does all sorts of stuff. I mean, it's amazing. So you're
This
gonna be
is
owning the world before.
Fantastic. Yes.
It's
Now,
great. So.
are your books all fiction? I didn't see what that one is. Are they all fiction like this?
My first one's nonfiction because it's about my story and how I started gymnastics, and then the other two are nonfiction.
Oh, this is
Fiction.
excellent.
That's awesome. Yeah.
This is when she was 9.
Excellent. Now, how do you sell these? Do you sell these in online only at your events, obviously?
Yeah.
Any stores carry your stuff?
Yeah. Do some marketing. That's right.
The
Yeah.
event that we were recently at earlier, it's the Mom and Me boutique. They carry me and my mom's books. and all
Oh,
my stuff
nice.
inside.
Mom and Me, it's called? And that's in
Yeah.
Elgin? Oh, Mom and Me Boutique.
Yeah, they just opened up a few months ago.
I have a feeling you're going to want to go there.
Yes.
Yes, she does candles, too. See, the ringer spoke up.
That's right. Where were you with the questions earlier? I just wanted. You're supposed to have a couple written down. I'm teasing.
So, Jasmine, you do, with your mom changing her life with all this, and obviously changing your life with all this, do you find her to be inspiring? Are you, like, thinking, wow, I really want to follow in these footsteps as opposed to being a secretary?
Yes.
Were you inspired by her being a secretary? Was that your dream before? You can be honest.
You can be honest.
Yeah, no, okay. You know, there are kids that are that. I was talking to a woman yesterday who she said at 4 years old, it was all about playing teacher. That was all and she said I'd line up all my teddy bears and I'd play teacher. And then she had an aunt that was a teacher and would bring over at the end of the year her grade book. And she said, that's all year. She goes, forget Christmas. I waited all year to get the grade book so I could look at and put A's and B's. And I'm like, wow, not my thing, but that's cool. So you changing your life has affected you in a positive way. That is awesome. I think we've done the same thing with Molly, even though she couldn't ask a question there. No, I'm teasing.
Don't
Look at
embarrass
this.
her.
Look
She
how,
did great.
look how I turned them all on me.
Yes.
But no, we've done the same thing with her. She's become a podcaster, and we're just all about creativity in the house now. So, excellent.
Into acting.
Well,
also.
we were before, but I was working. Come on, I was out of the house. Ugh. I was unhappy, too. You want to talk about that? Can we have a support group meeting now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So.
So, all right, I want to talk about art again. You can stay up here, Jasmine. But,
right.
Julie, I got questions about art. I love to know who inspires artists. Now, I know you're talking graphic arts here. I see a different style altogether here. Mm-hmm. Okay. Then we do here.
Is it bad when a 9-year-old writes way better than I do?
Right, it's clear.
I just want to ask a question.
Hey, look, she spelled the right. I have
Yeah,
a problem
exactly.
with that. Did I mention it? Who are the artists that you, just die over? Who is it that you're like, even if it's not one that inspires your art, you just love to look at their stuff?
I've always loved Picasso and Salvador Dali.
Uh-huh.
He does crazy
Oh,
abstract
awesome,
stuff.
yeah.
He's a little off his rocker, but that's okay.
Yeah.
He was great. Very
He had a
great.
heck of a mustache.
Yeah.
Oh, and Jackson Pollock.
Mm-hmm.
I've always loved him. His story, he's very deep and disturbing. But since high school, I loved his stuff, and I remember taking big canvas out on the deck and doing all that crazy stuff. And even now, in a lot of my art, I usually throw the paintbrush splashes at it at the end, just to give it
that
one
pop
last-
and then glitter.
Give it the
Boom.
one
and
shot.
then glitter. Yeah. This year I started messing with glitter and glass and all kinds of stuff. But some of my small pieces, I do a lot of painting on old books. I go to the library and buy stacks of 25-cent hardcover books.
They just had a library sale in Schaumburg
Yeah,
today.
I love it. Every other Sunday we go to Hanover Park Library, come out, bring books, and I usually paint 4 or 5 book covers a day.
Cool.
Or a Sunday. And then what I do is I put some twine or something, and you can hang the book on a wall or set it up on a little stand.
So the book itself has become another form of art, it's transformed into another
Right.
art. Cool.
And I don't know, I love I don't even buy canvas right now. I'm just buying books and like random like glass type things and just painting on anything and everything.
I got a garage full of crap if you want to come over. You
Yeah, yeah.
have some of that.
But it's
He's
funny.
looking for someone to move it. Don't fall for that.
You move it, it's yours.
Right.
Wow, very cool. Yeah, we love Jackson Pollock. In fact, what museum were we at? Is that where she saw the Jackson Pollock? Because we went in and she was like 3 and we walked into the modern art.
Wow.
We walked into the modern art area and there's all these different artists and then there's that giant Jackson Pollock. And yeah, she walked in and it was like she was overcome. She's like 3 and she's like, it's a Jackson Pollock. We're like, holy cow. And she just
Cool.
like took every bit of it in.
Very cool. I love his stuff.
Yeah, very
just
cool.
love it.
Yeah, and Picasso, you can't go wrong there either. So we're right now. I don't think we have a particular that we're studying, but we're a big art house too. I'm all about comic books, though. I like line art, graphic art, that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So that's when I get all geeky. I start talking about those guys. All right, you got any more questions, Chris?
No, I think I'm good. So.
I think we're good. Does anyone else have any questions for Julie? No.
Anyone?
The ringer clammed up again.
She did.
All
Yeah,
right.
that's right.
I'm teasing you. Julie, I want people to hear. You got a question? Let's hear it.
Julie, what technology has helped you the most, and you think in terms of
Love it.
growing your business
There you go.
and moving forward? What's helped you out the most?
Wait, that's twofold. Growing your business
And now I have a question
and
after
with
that
your
one, so
art.
yes.
It's two things I want to hear about.
For my business, definitely Facebook. Learning the technology of like Adobe Illustrator to create graphics for customers, but my own. Like I love every morning before I do any client work, I make something like a flyer or an inspirational quote or something to post, for our business, for the books, for the graphic design, or for my art. And so just learning the design software first, totally self-taught. I know what I need to know, but I don't know very much of the tech stuff. I don't know Photoshop. Like I work everything in Illustrator. And then, for online marketing, I've started my business Facebook page probably, 7 years ago when I first started freelancing. And that is how we get probably 80% of our business.
Wow.
All online, and half
and
of
through
that is
Facebook.
Yeah, definitely. I try to do Twitter. I love Instagram, but Facebook and Facebook ads and referrals, it's all done through Facebook. I have paid for some ads and stuff, and I've seen it work because if I boost an ad or do like a local ad, I'll see more local people come into our page versus like a lot of my clients are in Chicago, south suburbs, and Houston. But I've boosted a lot of ads local, like Hanover, Schaumburg, Bartlett, and we've met a lot of people from this area. So every now and then I'll put like $5 on an ad and just see what happens. And I do that with like my son's elementary school because I manage the page, and I see like local traffic come into our page, and it's pretty interesting. But
It's funny. I have a new show I just launched this week called The New Media Lab, where all we talk about, I want to have you on.
Yep.
But all
Knew
we
that
talk
was coming,
about
so.
is, you saw that one coming a mile away. But we talk about, podcasting and blogging and all that stuff. And on the first episode, I had Lilith Hellfire, who's one of our podcasters, who's a big social media guru. Everything since we've known her has been bashing Facebook. On this interview, she says, well, Facebook's a good tool. I go, what? Yeah. And she is always, every time somebody brings up, I pay for a thing like you just said, she's like, ugh, terrible. On this show, she said, well, once you have, say, 500 followers on Facebook, super valuable. She said before that, not worth your time. It's like,
That makes sense.
That's very different than what I was being told before. And she said the same thing you just did. Even though she's not a Facebook fan, she said if you use it as a tool for business, hit the local thing, you have enough followers, it's really going to be impactful. So I'm really glad you said that.
I think, and it's helped with the book too. Even
do you
more
advertise
so.
the book itself, or do you advertise when you're signing and stuff?
No, we try to advertise the book, things from the book, pictures of people holding the books.
Sure.
You know, I try to encourage our authors to use our page, put their blog posts on it. You know, invite.
So
their
you give
friends.
them like editing.
Yeah, I'm like whoever wants to. You know, not many of them jump on it, but it helps. And I mean, for my business or for the art, it's helped. It helped my graphic design business. If I have a logo sale, I boost that, and I'll get a couple leads, you know, in a week.
Fantastic.
New leads, not referrals, not anybody that I knew before.
Right.
And when I use it for the art, I've gotten like some window painting clients. I've gotten some people that saw my skylines asking if I could do a skyline of another city. So I keep all those pages separately, and I market to each of them, you know, specifically. And I've had a
You've
lot
had success
of luck.
with
Well,
that.
and you tell me you're
Yeah.
not organized, but you're like way ahead of whatever I could do. Like I can't even post on Facebook, and you're like, "Well, I have 5 pages. I manage this." I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
I got
No,
like
I'm teasing you, but I mean, we're all good at. We all have Excel at some area.
Oh, yeah.
And that's awesome because you do market out. You know, I was gonna, off of that. I mean, I want to know how you do all of this Facebook stuff because to me, it's a huge, like, I hate to say it
Crap.
seems like a very cumbersome thing to me, but I know it's effective and it works. Like what you say, we found like you attach a picture. It's huge. I love that you do the picture of the saying. I mean, it's great.
Yeah,
and
love
maybe
it.
just you with a cup of coffee saying, getting my morning started having a coffee. You do them all. You do all sorts of different ones. I think that's great. It's not like, here's a picture of a happy couple doing something. Get a logo. Again, it goes back to that genuine, that genuine feeling.
Yeah.
I mean, because I think it's all about
Chris,
real
I
stuff
think
there.
you're hitting on something
yeah.
that I'm sure is going to match your business model, just from everything I've seen.
Right.
She's putting that real personal, intimate touch on it. You feel like you know her.
Sure.
I feel like when I read your stuff, you're not putting on airs. You're not trying to get something.
Right.
You put that picture of you with the coffee. It's like, oh, Julie's starting her day, and she's going to be doing art today. Like,
Right.
it totally, that is really the key, and especially with
Right.
Facebook. When I get, like, we've been looking at all these T-shirt ads lately because we're selling some T-shirts through our site, and we're really excited about it. Like, we like them. So we're trying to, like, get that across. Like, look how genuine we really like these. But I keep getting ads from other places, and I'm like, yeah, they're just promoting there's a sale. And it's a fine line.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know?
Well,
So
you don't
I
want to be
get
too
that.
much, but you don't want to be too little. I mean, I think it works out really well. I
Right.
mean, I do, and it's not obtrusive because Facebook could be just like emails. It could be you get 20 from the same place, and I really like that. And
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of yours, and I think it's great. But I like how you put it in there, and then you're always mentioning, you're mentioning something different, whether it's TEW or the graphic design stuff or the kids stuff, and I think that's really kind of cool. I think it's great. It's very effective because it does. It's about getting clicks. I know that's what it is. It's about getting people engaged. In
Right.
It. So
Yeah.
however you can do it, and it's different for all of us, and doing it for here, doing it for your business, doing it for podcasting. It's weird how you look at these pages and see the posts, and you're like, or the clicks or the
Right.
shares. I mean, when we opened this place, a little article on Reddit got shared like 13,000 times about Blue Box.
Wow.
When we first started, that's when I know, and it's like I was sitting there going, oh, we're gonna have this little coffee shop, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like, what is gonna happen?
Right.
No, most of them were over.
Yeah.
Most of them were over in England, and I'm not talking about that. It had nothing to do with me. I didn't have a Facebook page set up. I had nothing. I put a logo on a poster. Somebody shared it. All of a sudden, I'm like, oh, we
Yeah,
might have
boom,
something
everywhere.
go okay. And whatever success we've had has been totally organic because I have no idea what I'm doing other than we share some stuff, and I think it's cool that you take that approach. And I won't say it motivates me, but it's given me a lot of perspective on doing different things, just watching the things that you do. So
Yeah.
you're my Facebook leader. How about that? So, I mean, because and Rob, you've done a lot too. And nothing like that. But I look at all
You
these,
threw me a bone there. Did you
well, no,
catch
I'm
that?
looking at I look at all these people that do something that I can't, and that's how you learn. And I think it's really neat. So,
And it's with a restaurant, it's hard. I mean, my
Sure.
parents had a restaurant for 10 years in the Dells, and they did nothing on Facebook. And I was new at Facebook, and I kept saying, just send me pictures, send me specials,
Sure.
send me pictures of your food. And we just never did it because their audience was very local.
Sure.
But right now, my brother is an executive chef at Concordia, and I'm a graphic designer for them. And I'm telling them, I know you guys are in the kitchen all day. You're running around. You're dealing with staff. Send me some pictures of your food,
Sure.
your plates, your catering.
I think
parties."
Chris and I had the same conversation
Yes.
And
recently.
he's like, we forget.
He
and
just
I'm
wanted
like,
to eat, but that's okay. Yeah.
right.
Well, no,
So-
but
but
it's
it's
really
hard.
I said
important.
send
I'll
me
tell you
your food. That's
the
what I
picture
said.
sells more than
Right.
that picture will draw them in and get the ball rolling and get
Exactly.
people interested. So,
Exactly.
Yeah.
All
thanks
right,
for the tip. Hey,
Julie. This is your big chance. I want you to tell where people can find your stuff, how they can get in touch with you, where they can buy these fabulous books, and everybody should get Jasmine's books.
Yes.
And got to support that too. So let's hear it. Let's hear
Yeah.
all the stuff. Lay it out here.
all right, we have 4 websites. I know it's a lot.
only
but
4.
4.
Oh,
TEW.
wait, and make sure I know these. We'll put them in the show notes on the YouTube thing. We'll put them on the podcast too, because this will be a
Okay.
podcast it'll post. So there you go.
Cool.
So people listening and watching, you can get it in the show notes, but do
Okay.
it.
We have TEWYOU.com. That's the entrepreneur within you. You can get all of our books, some journals, our funky mugs, not these, the Sleep We Grind,
Not so funky.
stuff like that.
Hey, these are nice. What do you
We
I know.
have Julie M Holloway.com, HOLLOWAY, and that's all my art, fine art, window painting, prints, art journals, anything that has my artwork on it. Then the graphic design and printing and websites, we have all of that on jmhcreative.com, and it's JMHCRE, the number 8, IVE.com. And lastly, JMHcandles.com.
Yes.
That's
And,
Jasmine's, right?
that's
We
Jasmine's.
heard that Jasmine has candles.
Yeah. So
CEO and designer. So fashion
JMH
designer.
Candles, and that's where you can get her books, her little brother's books, candles. And, you know, most of the stuff that we do, we have a whole bunch of things on display at the new boutique, Mom and Me. It's 241 South State. And it just happened a few weeks ago when she opened, and it's actually a real dream for us because we wanted to have a boutique before she went into high school. We're not ready to rent one yet, but the lovely owner gave us an entire wall.
Oh, that's
so
fantastic.
we have like art and paintings and prints and books and journals and stuff
Yeah, that's
from
awesome.
It's really cool.
Thailand.
Yeah, you have candles.
Yes.
Some candles. And it's a fabulous
That's awesome.
it's an adorable boutique. So we're very honored to have a place that we can finally send people to.
Sure.
You know, we've done so many vendor fairs and crafts and shows, and this is really amazing to be able to say, hey, Mom and Me, go see the owner over there and,
Right.
you know, tell her we sent you, you know, and just shop.
That's awesome.
So
Yeah, 'cause
we're really excited.
to kind of
about
kick
this.
into that, not to interrupt, but Julie had posted a picture of a space for lease across, and she's like, "I'm thinking about." I'm like, "Oh, that would be awesome if we could have." You know,
Yeah.
when you were discussing about maybe moving the office out of the house, and I mean, you know, there's a lot. I know there's a lot to it. Business-wise, it's hard. That's cool, and I hope you can realize that dream sometime. And I
Yeah.
know proximity to home and the school and kids. You know, I got another friend who's actually opening a place a couple doors down. That I think it would be great. You know, I don't want to say like a dream I have is I really love to have just people that I like hanging around that we
Yeah.
could all promote. I mean, you know,
Right.
we do it
He
all the
wants to
time.
make
It's just
like
people
a
we like.
commune
Oh
over
yeah,
here. Of,
Yeah.
a business commune would be well. I mean, but
That'd
you
be
know
awesome.
what? It's cool if if everybody's on the same page. It makes things so much better,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
great. And it's obvious with your books that everybody's on the same page, and it shows. So
Right.
that's awesome. How about Facebook or anything? Sorry to interrupt, but do you have Facebook pages?
Oh
or?
yeah, we've got like millions of Facebook pages.
Yeah.
You could look Julie or Jasmine Holloway. We have a Facebook page for her books. We have one for for the Entrepreneur Within. We have JMH the Artist with all the artwork, and then JMH Creative with all the
Wow.
designs. And people say, "Why do you have so many pages?" It's Because, some of my graphic clients are not here to buy books.
Right.
They're not here to buy my art. But when they see that we have these other things, they come to our events. They start coming out. But I have to keep it all separate because for too many last few years, everyone's like, you do too much. You have so much going on. You're always... I'm like, yeah, but you know what? It's all very, systematic.
It's all very organized.
Yeah. Kind of.
I know. I'm teasing you.
Chris wants a consultation afterwards.
That's right.
Apparently.
I do. I want one. So.
Julie M Holloway, HOLLOWAY.com.
Look, they're getting right on it right now.
right.
And I
Gotta
have
like
a
that.
few cards and stuff we'll leave over here,
Yep.
To
Excellent.
take with you.
And Julie
Well,
always
thank
leaves
you.
swag when she comes in because
yeah.
every once in a while she got some new mugs and she brought them in. I was like, oh, this is awesome. So,
Well, Julie, Jasmine, both of you,
Thanks.
thank you so much for being on. You're always
Thank
welcome
you.
to be here. I could talk to you about all this stuff all night, but we have 2
Definitely.
other shows we got to do.
Yeah.
No, we have
three
more.
We have 3
Wow.
shows and Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we
I
got
know.
to
Busy
move on
night. That's
that.
right.
But thank you guys so
But thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
I love your stuff.
I told you it was
so
easy,
great.
wasn't it?
Thank you.
And when you have clients that come in and you want to do something, you let us know and we'll
Okay.
do this.
We should, Pierre should get up here on analytics and
Yeah.
marketing
Yes.
online.
Yes.
Awesome.
We have Sherry, who also makes
Ooh, I might
candles
have you
and
on
stuff.
New Media Lab too.
Nice.
But yeah, Pierre, he's the king of workshops. I don't like giving
Yes.
workshops.
Yes. All right. You're my new buddy too. Hey.
Hold on.
All
He
right.
says that now. That's
Yeah.
all.
Wait till you see the next show. You're going to completely change your tune. All right.
Run.
That's
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you,
Awesome.
Julie. Thank you so much. You guys
Awesome.
are lovely
Thanks.
and wonderful. And thank you, everybody.
Jasmine,
Thank you,
thanks a
Blue
lot.
Box.
Awesome. Thanks.